Hi, I'm Professor Hitch, and today we're going to talk about evaluating sources. So the first thing you need to know about evaluating sources is there isn't actually one way to do it. But that said, I am going to talk today about one way that you could do it with an acronym that will be very easy to remember. Today, we're going to apply the crap test. That's right. We're going to be trying to find out, does your source have crap? Is it full of crap? And, we could really only hope it is. So without further ado, here we go. CRAP stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. When you hear the word currency, think current. Is my source recent? The more recent, the better. Relevance, fairly self-explanatory. Is my source actually about the thing that it needs to be about? We should hope so. Is it authoritative? Now, when I say authoritative, I mean, is the right person writing about this? Should we believe that person? Is it accurate? And some of you might be thinking, when I say, is it accurate, how do you know? Well, it's your job as somebody using a source to figure out if it is accurate. And then finally, purpose. The reason why this information exists. These are five things, that is, I'm gonna have to learn how to count, that you need in order to evaluate a source. You'll notice under each of these names are a series of questions. I won't read all the questions now. If you're interested in reading these questions on your own, you can go type in California State University Chico and then crap tests, and you should come to the same PDF that I did. Shout out to Cal State Chico. Awesome, you guys rock. But these questions, you don't actually have to answer them. They just give you a sense of what you should be looking for. Like, what does it mean for a source to be current? What does it mean for a source to be relevant? I was thinking, though, rather than just go over these 5 elements and say, yep, there you go, that's it, I want to try applying these to some sources just to kind of see how they work. So I've been racking my brain trying to come up with something that would be relevant to anybody watching, at least during the time period it's posted, and I thought, stimulus money. Oh my gosh, we all want to know, are we getting more stimulus money? So I typed in second stimulus check just to see what would happen. And I went to Google News. We're on Google News right now. Second stimulus check, Google News. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click this first link. It looks helpful. New stimulus check, 9 things you need to know. It's published by CNET. I think they're okay. We'll find out. So I'm clicking on it. Okay. So we're going to go through the tests. Currency. Is this information relevant? The answer is heck yes. Today is October 5th, and this was published October 5th. This literally happened an hour ago, which is awesome. So in terms of relevancy, we're doing okay. In terms of Fabletics, we'll save that for another video. The next on the list is relevance. Is the information important for my needs? Well, I want to know about the stimulus check. So let's scroll down just a bit. In all fairness, I should be reading for more detail than this, but I'm going to pay attention to the bolded headlines for now. Trump's COVID-19 illness could change the timeline. A new bill is passed, but here's what it means. Something about refinancing my mortgage. Just kidding. I know that's an ad. Both parties want to get us a check for as much as $1,200. The IRS could speed up the process. You won't pay taxes on the money. Eligibility rules could shift to your advantage. Well, frankly, as I go back to this question, the importance of the information for your needs, I'm actually starting to lean towards this not being very relevant. I have a really simple question. Do we get money? Do we not get money? And I'm getting an answer that is not an answer. So for currency, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. For relevance, I'm going to say 6 out of 10. For authority, well, if we're judging the authority of the publisher CNET, I would give it maybe an 8-ish. But let's take a look at the author. Clifford Colby, managing editor at CNET. He writes about tech, home theater, car tech. But apparently, just all of the stimulus check articles that you could ask for. And instant pot food. Okay, so as I'm looking at these articles, I'm coming up with a whole lot of nothing. This guy writes about whatever he gets paid to write about. And the more that I scroll down through here, I don't know how seriously I should take this guy. If CNET's getting an 8, I would give Clifford Colby a 5. Accuracy, the reliability and truthfulness of this information, well, really I would need more time than I have in this video to assess that, but I'm going to take a stab in the dark, and I'm going to say because Clifford Colby is not really telling us anything important, it's probably all correct, it's just not very important. This is a classic trick that a lot of news writers use. They want to write something that will grab your attention. They write a flashy headline, new stimulus check. You click on it thinking, this is it. I'm going to read all about it. I'm going to get that check. And then they just tell you all the random things in the world. You get to the end of it, you forget why you started reading it. Now you're just kind of interested to see what's there. And you know what? Clifford Colby wins because he got paid to write that. The next thing after relevancy is purpose, the reason why this information exists. Now this is another tricky one. This is something that might not be easy to assess at first glance. For purpose, I'm gonna scroll back to the top. It says new stimulus check. So I would say the purpose is probably to tell us about the stimulus check. However, although his purpose is to tell us about the new stimulus check, there isn't actually a lot of information here about whether or not that's going to happen. Most of the information in this article actually has to do with things other than the stimulus check, with the timeline, with the IRS, with political negotiations, things that are not the actual answer to the question we started this search with. And therefore, I would say the purpose probably isn't to tell us about that. Actually, I would say the purpose is to advertise to us. Look at all these ads. I can't even tell sometimes if I'm looking at a news article or an ad, and that's probably not a good sign. Get your CNET coronavirus update. Yeah. This isn't good. I would say the purpose is probably to advertise, and secondary to that, probably the purpose is to give us information. One final review, currency gets a 10, relevancy, let's say 5. Authority, let's say 5. Accuracy, we'll go with probably 9. And purpose, we're going to go with like 5, maybe 4. Altogether, you're looking at a really solid, let's say 15, 19, 34 out of 50. That's almost passing. That's 68%. This is a source that you can and could use in an essay, but this is not the source that you should rely on in an essay. An essay that gets 34 out of 50 gets 68% if you're scoring this on a scale of 1 to 50 total, is not a great source. So I would say I would give this like this is like a C-rated source. Real quickly, I want to show you what it would look like to do this with Wikipedia. Students often, at one point or another, try to use Wikipedia as a source, and often their teacher says, "Don't do that. Wikipedia is so, mistrustful." But they don't always say why. So let's go through this one more time real quick. Currency, the timeliness of this information. We already have an issue here. There is no way for me to tell when this was published. Yeah, I'm not seeing a date. No date. Ah, here we go. Last edited, but that's not published. So let's go back up to the top. This is information about the CARES Act. It's not quite second stimulus check, but it's pretty close. When you scroll down to the bottom, we know that this was edited on October 5th, 2020, which is fairly recent. But we don't know when it was originally published. We don't know what was edited, right? So they could change one thing in here, and that would count as most recently edited 2 days ago. So for currency, I have to give it at least a 5, if not less. For relevancy, the importance of the information to your needs, that's going to score pretty high. This is good information. We'll give it a 10. For authority, who is the author, publisher, source, sponsor? There is no author. I mean, somebody wrote this, but we don't have access to that information. So that's a 0. Accuracy, the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of content. I'm going to say accuracy is pretty good. I'll give it another 10. And you know why? Each of these little letters or numbers represents a citation. This article is cited left and right. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can see the Works Cited page right here. Awesome. However, for purpose, the reason why this information exists. At first glance, it's real easy to say this information exists to educate. Certainly, that's the purpose of Wikipedia. However, if we don't know the person writing this information, it's hard to discern what the purpose of it is. What information is being reported here? What information is being left out of this Wikipedia page? Frankly, it's so long, I'm not sure that we could tell if we were missing something. That's problematic. We don't know who the author is, and therefore it's difficult to impossible to determine the exact purpose, and I'd have to give it another 0. So to sum it all up, currency is a 5 or below. We can even edit that and call it a 0. Relevancy is a 10. Authority is a 0. Accuracy is a 10. Purpose is a 0. You get 20 out of 50. That's a failing source. Wikipedia is a really great place to learn about things. It's relevant and most of the time fairly accurate, let's call it that. But because we don't know who's doing the work, it's not going to work as a source. And there you go. We have reviewed the CRAP test, currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, purpose, and we've tested it out on 2 sources. Hopefully, that will help you get started evaluating your source material. That's all for now.